Hello there, how are you? It is KV and this is the moon phase report for the new moon that is showing up on the very first day of the year 2014. This one is so powerful, and if you've been watching for a while, you know when I first discovered it, I guess back in October when I first saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so powerful and so amazing. And I'm actually going to keep this reading kind of brief right now because since I knew, how powerful this year is going to be and how this one is really going to be a further extension of what 2013 was, but one that really puts everything into action. Last year was kind of a training wheels year where lessons came, believe it or not, in a more gentle fashion. And what 2014 is going to bring is either a whole doorway open that you get to walk through, or a doorway that is just completely closed and there's no getting around it until you really do the work that you need to do. And there's not gonna be any getting around it anymore. And if you remember what I wrote about what 2014, 2112, what that gate opening would bring us into in 2013, is that we're always going to be gauged on our integrity now. And with 2013, I said, some people would just start to see their businesses flourish out of control, and other people just would not be able to get it off the ground. They would have the momentum and the gusto to get it started, but whether that became a sustainable thing completely and utterly is dependent on our integrity, and the integrity that goes all the way through us, that manifests out in our actions out in the world, that manifests through our thoughts that we're thinking. So last year you were really shown where you were not operating with integrity, and you either fought it and were like whatever, and tried to keep pushing on, and you would have been allowed to in 2013. But come 2014, you're not getting any free lunches. You're not. It's either you get to walk through the gate or you do not. And you'll either walk through the gate and have all these dreams of yours manifesting left and right to the point where you're just like, oh my gosh, I am in a new world. Or you're still going to be stopped until you change those things that you're not really looking closely at and accepting and honoring that you do need to change these things. And I can tell you that probably 99% of them are just with your thoughts. So it is things that we can change quickly, actually. The only thing is that most of us have really strong minds, and they tend to keep us in these lower spaces, even though intellectually we do believe we should be in a higher space. And one of the reasons I'm keeping this so short, I'll just get this out now because I'm so excited. After I realized how potent and powerful this new moon was, I had to put something together that was going to really help us align to this higher way so that we can walk through the gate. Because I want us all walking through this gate. Enough of this oppression and feeling suppressed in life and limited in life, and that we can't make our dreams happen. And then, the truth of that whole matter is just stating that and saying that stuff is keeping you in those states. So always seeing how limited you are and held back you are is the very thing that is holding you back. And I have a lot more to talk about this in this event that I've put together. This is going to be so fantastic. You do not want to miss this. But so what I'm going to do New Year's Day, I'm actually having 2 days of events. But New Year's Day, I am going to be first coming forward, and I'm going to be working on this today, but I'm going to go in and really just work with my guides and work with these forces, and just I want all the exact messages that are clear as day that every sign really needs to know to be able to walk through this gate and to not yet still be held back, because it's going to be much more painful in 2014 when you're held back. You'll be able to switch out of it just as quickly, you know, when you do make the changes you need to make, but it's really going to feel a lot worse. And the reason for that is just so that you will awaken to what you need to change. It's not to hurt you, but it is time. It's time now. We have to really get out there and be these people we want to be in the world. So the first part of the event is where I'm going to do that for every sign. I'm going to find the gate opening for you, what you need to do, what you need to change, what is the most important thing that each sign needs to know to really be able to walk through this. And I haven't even researched what it's going to be yet. I just knew that I could find that and I could bring that through, and today I plan on finding that. So tomorrow on New Year's Day, 3 p.m. Mountain Time, we're going to start the event with that. And then I have such a special guest who a lot of you do not know yet. I actually met her about 1.5 years ago, you know, because if you know, it was 12/21/12 that completely shifted my life into crazy busy. Like the moment that day happened, the day after that day, I was slammed, and I have been slammed with business every single day since then. You know, I have worked from morning till night every day, except for, you know, a couple of vacations where I still was doing work, but I still have been racing to keep up with business where before there was almost nothing. And one of the things that happened around that time is that my guides had told me, and you know, sometimes they're very clear like this with words. It's the same with readings. Sometimes it's just so the clarity is unreal. But I was told that I needed to find this woman named Eva and that she was to give me a reading. And so I found her right away. It didn't take hardly any effort. It was, you know, meant to be. And when we met, we just knew we had this really strong affinity. It was definitely like, I even kind of felt like I was going to be working with her later. But I didn't know in what capacity. I mean, my business hadn't even soared yet. So anyway, we got together for this reading. And then she also said that she's Pleiadian, and she also said that I was Pleiadian, even though I've always so resonated with Sirians. So I was at first like, I don't know if that's true. But then it was funny, I didn't tell her that. But later on she said, but your main guide is from Sirius. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. And she was like, the person who's bringing through information through you is from Sirius. So you're going to be speaking that sort of language for the people. And then I was like, okay, that makes sense. Because I'm still like, nope, Sirius is really strong in me. But it makes sense that the person who's really, you know, putting these pictures in me to come out of my mouth is coming from Sirius. That makes much more sense. But I have the heart love energy of the Pleiadians. Anyway, so she, where was I on that? So anyway, oh, she said that she speaks the language of light, which I know a couple people who do, and that she was going to do this meditation attunement on me. And so that happened, and what I can tell you is that, you know, I didn't realize this until after later processing the event, but I had this, I was holding myself back in life with my career because I had these really deep-seated fears about being murdered for what I was going to speak about. And I have it in a past life that I did have that happen. So I came in with that fear, and it was something that, I mean, I was very aware of it. I always thought I was going to be murdered since I was a kid. I just always knew that I would be murdered for what I would talk about. People wouldn't like that, and they would want me to stop talking. So I didn't realize that I was actually putting up all these barriers that were keeping me from manifesting my dreams, because they were going to put me up front and center. So after that, the meditation attunement she did, it was, I don't remember how soon after, but it was pretty soon after that, that was when my life completely changed, and I just put myself out there, and everything just got so crazy busy. What was really interesting too is that the same thing happened for her after we met. So both of our businesses really soared. We were finally being seen after we met each other and then had this attunement. So the second half of the event on New Year's Day is going to be with Eva coming forward. She's going to talk a little bit about the new earth, and then she's going to take us into this meditation and this Pleiadian attunement that we're all going to get. So I just told you what happened to me with this, and now you get to know that you get to have the same thing for yourself. And we've been talking a lot, and we have such a great affinity with each other. Like I said, we can really talk great. We can talk for hours. So we kind of have already decided that this is a really special thing that we're going to come together and do. So we want to do these now on a monthly basis. So every month on the first day of the month, we're going to be coming together and doing this. So I will do just a really kind of special, motivating, activating kind of reading for every sign, and then we'll all get to go into this meditation and have a Pleiadian attunement that you'll get to, you know, see how powerful it is after this first one, and then you're totally going to want to come back for every one. So every month you'll get this new burst of energy to really kind of clear this stuff out, you know, so that we can really go out and be what we want to be in this world. It's like enough of talking about it, enough of lip service. Enough of thinking we are vibrating at this other level when we're really not, you know, when we're really not walking our talk. We're really not, you know, I think for most people it's we're really not thinking along the lines of the high vibrations. We still have this thing where we think we can keep it in our minds and it doesn't matter. We think we can have fights with people and we can engage in them and go down to that level, and we think it doesn't matter, but it does. And those are the things that are keeping us from realizing our dreams. So I'm going to get a lot more into that on the reading tomorrow. But it's going to be so fantastic. I'm so excited. I'll have all the details down below. And then the next day of this event, I'm having Tara, who's our shamanic practitioner, who's going to be having a shamanic journeying session with everybody. So we'll do a couple journeys. I think one of them will be about, you know, really going to find out what is holding us back. And then we'll journey back into, you know, get more details of what we need to do to change that, to let go of it. And so that's going to be really powerful. So it's going to be like a 2-day event. You can sign up for one or all of them. And I think it's just going to be the best way to bring in this new year. We're going to get you totally like, I'm going to work on getting your mind into a space of the high vibrations and really being excited and stoked to go out there and make your dreams manifest for you. And then we'll do the attunement, and then the next day a shamanic journey session, just to gain some more insight and to pull you more into your own intuition, because I just think that's so important. And I'm actually teaching my very first classes now. I'm so excited. It's so many people though that I'm, you know, now realizing I may have to put limits on it, because it is a lot of work when you have so many students in there. But you know, what I'm really doing is I'm teaching them all how to learn astrology and to map their chart out in a way that is nothing related to the head. You know, I'm so pulling them out of the head, and I'm taking them down to their gut, where we're just going to intuit all this astrological information instead of, you know, racing to everybody else for what they have interpreted this stuff to mean. You know, so it's so exciting, and I know that everybody is loving it. And so everything I'm kind of going to be bringing out into the world this year is really about helping you to shift to, you know, bringing things from your gut, you know, really kind of sitting with things, being patient with things, feeling things out, instead of always acting from the mind. And really kind of, as I was telling them in this class the other day, we're keeping ourselves smaller by not really using the tools we have within our own body, you know, and always just giving the power to other people. So that's everything I'm going to be bringing this year, and that's why I created these events with me and Eva, you know, so that we can really start kind of breaking through some of these things that you can't really see, and shining some light on the awareness of that, and, you know, and then working to, you know, clear it out So it's going to be a powerful year. So I will give you a little bit of heads up with the astrology. For one, we still, you know, we're in this really hot-headed, irrational space. So there's lots of temper tantrums. There's lots of fights. There's lots of acting irrationally, very quickly, and not thinking it through, and then having to clean up that mess. So one thing I'm telling everybody right now is just really be patient. You are not to engage in these fights with others. When you engage, you go down to that level and you, excuse me, you push your healing process away. We're just not allowed to do that anymore. I talked about that on the last video about, you know, that whole fighting thing with people, and you know, wanting them to get even and wanting to put them down, and you know, wanting to, I'm gonna get you. Like, that's a really strong thing in this world. You know, I'm gonna get you, I'm gonna show you. That ego thing of, how dare you talk to me like that, and whatever. And we really just need to humble ourselves and realize that, you know, we're not victims in this. And if we manifested that already, we have something to look at about ourselves, you know. So that's kind of the first part of it, is really just kind of accepting and taking responsibility for, you did manifest this friction. You know, so what does that say about something that you do need to change? And after that, it's just about letting it go, because there is not to be that thing where then you go into that person and go, well, that person did that, and that person did this, and that person did that, you know? And that's just hurting you so much. And we're going to be learning how to stop doing that, because it's so empowering when you can stop doing that. It's so empowering when you can see an accident, you can see a fight, you can see this thing that is so uncomfortable to look at and deal with, but that you then take it inward and shine the light on you to see what kind of role you have in this, and then let that person go. Not have that need to get even, to hurt them, to put them down, to take them down with you, basically. And it's funny, because I was going through something like this, you know, because that's how we learn, you know. We have these things put into our path to show us an area where there is a sensitivity of, and there is the possibility of us falling back into the low vibrations and into kind of the old world way of being. So we manifest these things in our life because we are to look more closely at ourselves. It's always a perfect timing thing. There's never mistakes in it. But I was seeing this thing, and I was seeing about, you know, the fights that so tend to go on with others, and how there's so much miscommunication in them. You know, and they can get to the point where they get so out of balance that you have no idea how to even write them. And I really kind of came up with these visuals that came to me about, you know, we can really only take responsibility for ourselves. And I know a lot of people have things where they've had disagreements or whatever with someone, some kind of miscommunication, and then one of those parties deals with it by racing off to talk about it with everybody and manipulate them into not approving of this other person that they're fighting with. And I think, you know, I talked about this in the last video. It's very this high school thing of wanting all these people on your side, you know. I have all these people on my side, and we all think you are so bad. There's something that would fill the ego in doing that in the old world way. And now we're just really awakening to how wrong that is. And I'm not necessarily able to offer you the tools to figure out how to fix those things, because what I really get mostly from that is that all you can do is disengage. And if it means your reputation is being smeared, you just have to trust that, you know, if you are operating with integrity, people will know that, and they won't believe what this person is saying. And if they do believe it, you know, or if other people do believe it, then, you know, that's just another story. But for you to come in and try to fix it, means that you have to go down to that level, and that you have to do the same things of like, well, that person did this and that person said that. And if you can do it in a way that is honoring and not pulling you down to that energy, then that's perfect. You can do that. But I think for so many, I'm also getting this really big in readings right now, but I think for so many, all you can really do is walk away and stay on your path and just try to be the best person you can be and to learn from this stuff. And the visual I had, I was out hiking, and you know, where I live, you know, we call these hills here, but in New Mexico, but other people call them mountains, you know, but it's all rolling in hills. So when you go hiking, you're always out of breath, you know, because you're always going up, 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 but then you're going down, but then you're going up, 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 up. But I was, there's also these really big, deep kind of cavern things that the water runs down, and they've carved themselves out and then become these little creeks. But some of them can be like, you know, 10, 15, you know, 20 feet deep. So I was coming out of one of those and then going up this hill, and then I had to go up this another really high hill that then takes you to this point. And all of a sudden I saw how when you are engaging in these fighting things and this like, oh, who do you think you are? You know, any kind of energy feeling that right now, like seriously, you have to let that go. But so this example will show you. But so I was going up the hill, and then I saw, you know, people who are having to do that fight thing, and people who are like, I'm going to tell everybody all these nasty things, and I'm going to put these people down, and I'm going to show, you know, them who you really are. I'm going to smear your reputation. I'm going to whatever. But I saw people like that really just want to be where you are. They really, there's always a jealousy thing. There's always an envy thing. There's always something where they want what you want, and that's what makes them lash out like that. And so I saw this image of, it was totally like The Walking Dead. It was, and I saw them like down in the creek area where you had to then go up this, you know, is it called a ravine? I don't know if that's the right word, but where you do have to, you know, this area is separate, so it's down below, and you got to climb up this wall to get up to the next level. But then there's so many more levels in life. But I saw them just like, you know, it was that same thing with The Walking Dead, like the glaring teeth and like tongue out and irrational and and like, you know, trying to get up this wall, but it's muddy and it keeps throwing them down. But what they don't realize is that it's keeping them down because they're doing all that ugly action of get even, be jealous of someone, put them down, try to convince other people that they aren't as awesome as they are or whatever. But by doing that, you stay in this muddy, slopey, you know, creek area that keeps you from evolving up. And, you know, no matter how high you get, you can always go back down. But you can only be as high as you are, you know, so there's no jumping up to other levels until you've really dealt with and healed this stuff that is where you are wanting revenge or wanting to get even and feeling jealous of what other people have. So I really saw the image of that, and it was so clear. And then they just kept sliding down because they're just raging and pissed off and resentful and all those really dark, evil energies that we've known, that we've just naturally expressed because we didn't know how dangerous they were on our own health and with manifesting our own dreams. Like, our dreams will not come if you're holding those spaces in your body. They just won't. So I really saw this thing about how I was, you know, being shown to just how we have to keep forward on our path and move forward and keep evolving and keep, you know, seeing these prompts that show up in our life that trigger us and push our buttons and piss us off, and really go deeper into them every time they happen, and to see them as a gift, and to, you know, see what we need to change or tweak within our own way of thinking and dealing and handling things and handling provocation that does come into our life, because it does. You know, there's always going to be something. There's always, it's just, we're in a world with too many other people on so many different levels. We're going to be pushed. We're going to have things happen. But everything is on us. Everything is, the responsibility is on us. It has nothing to do with them. We can't blame them. We can't go and have a shitty day because this person did this, that stranger acted out there. You got ticked off because that person did that. You know, all of that is on us. Everything is on us and how we're going to respond to things. So especially coming to the end of this year, there's been a lot of provocation, but it's only been like the powers that be are coming together and pushing buttons left and right to show you this needs to be changed. You can't go into 2014 with this same energy intact. You can't go into 2014 with these same habits operating, these same patterns ingrained and operating and being the driving force in your life, you know. So it's like, you know, transform or die, you know, and it's not really like killing yourself, that kind of death, but it is like, you know, it's now or you're going to walk into a really nightmare land, you know. It's like, deal with this stuff now or it's going to be so like, but, you know, even if you are someone who does walk even further into the nightmare, you have to realize that it's just showing you things that you need to transform and let go of. You know, I think I talked in that last video about that resentment I was holding about, you know, my father, that the decision being made to, you know, fuse his upper back when he was hit by the car. And, you know, I had resentment for it, even though it's not like I thought about it daily, but it was something, especially back then. I was really like, this is going to mess him up. He's going to be in pain for the rest of his life, and the most unbearable because it's the upper back, you know. But then the you know, that insight coming to me, showing me that had that not happened, he very well may have been paralyzed, and then you would have had a paralyzed father to take care of. So imagine that one, and how miserable he would have been with that one. So you know, we have all these things that we're holding resentment for, but we don't really realize it. But we do realize it when we have that button pushed. And that is always that opportunity for us to go deeper into that and to be like, how can I heal this button being pushed? What do I need to see and accept and let go of? But I can tell you that probably the number one thing I see out there in people and in giving readings and all this stuff is that it's just jealousy and envy. It's just wishing you had what that person has, so you attack and want to hurt them. And we can't have that at all. So what I do tell you, it'll take a minute to switch into this, but it is the only way to manifest your career dreams, especially. I mean, it's love too, but you know, whenever you have that thing come up where you feel jealous of someone because of what they're doing, you need to switch that around, and you need to be so stoked about what they have. You need to be like, you know, and my friend actually brought that awareness to me. She's like, oh, whenever I see somebody doing something like that, I get excited that at least they're able to make a living doing that. That helps me see that I can make a living doing this too. So that came from a Scorpio friend. So yeah, so, you know, think about that. Anytime you do feel that, really kind of take responsibility that what you're feeling does not have anything to do with them, really. It's that you want what they have, and you're jealous that they have it, but you should turn that jealousy around and be like, how cool that you're doing that. I'm really happy for you. I am so stoked that you're doing that. If you can do that, you will speed up you eventually then doing that same thing. So we have to switch a lot of things like this. And, you know, the main thing, you know, I'm going to talk about this in the reading tomorrow, but I've been, you know, trying to come up with the words that really kind of sum up 2014. And I know I used integrity in 2013, but now integrity is just in bold letters. It was more like integrity. But now it's like integrity, like it has to be done with integrity. Everything we do has to be done with integrity. There is no getting around it now. We can't cheat. We can't copy other people's things. That's a big one too. It will just be like a little firework that just goes pew, pew. It'll be like a sparkler. Your life will be like a sparkler if you're really just copying somebody else and not really bringing it through and operating with integrity and having it really be something that comes from you. You know, if you do it like that, you'll have those big fireworks to have everyone, oh, you know. So, you know, how far your creations go in the world are going to be dependent on operating with integrity and taking responsibility for yourself, for your actions, and for your thoughts. So we're going to see in 2014, you know, I was talking to someone about it yesterday. You know, I think like the real fall, you know, that we will see on a mass level is really going to be next year. You know, I don't think that we've really seen, you know, even like the United States really go through a collapse yet. And I think that, you know, even I was talking to somebody about Obamacare. Somebody was educating me on it in a bit. And I was like, oh, I knew Obamacare was kind of a joke and that it would be a nightmare over the years. Because basically it's not saying, they're not saying they're going to give everybody health care. They're saying they're going to make everybody have to pay for health care. And I'm sure it's also in alignment with Fukushima, because yeah, everyone's going to need it in 15, 20 years, you know, because of that. But yeah, so Obamacare is, it kind of cracks me up. It's not, everyone's like, yay, I'm so excited, we're all going to get health care. And I'm like, no, you're all going to have to pay hugely for health care, or you're going to be penalized enormously. I'm like, no, it just means you're going to have to pay, you know, $500-600 a month to have health care. So it's going to be something else. We're going to see how that one. I know everybody probably has a couple years of okay, because the fines are, I think, $100 the first year if you don't get it. I think $400 the second year, and then I think they just keep doubling every year. But so yeah, we'll see how that one plays out. But you know, there's a lot of illusion out there in the world that looks like it's like, oh, this is great. But this is not like other countries that have free healthcare with citizenship. This is nothing like that, and that's what people think. It's like, no, it's just demanding that everybody get it. You know, it's demanding that everybody come up with, I think probably minimum some people will pay is $300. I don't know that, I know a lot of people have gone in and checked it depending on what they're making, and it's like, it's a lot. It's not even that it's affordable, you know. But anyway, we'll work through that. Everything is transforming and burning away that isn't right. So even something like that very well may not really come to be. Because I know even me, I want like, you know, a different kind of health care. If there's like a health care that's for more natural things like, you know, why can't I say that word? With acupuncture, you know, then, you know, if there's a health insurance that includes that and chiropractic or network chiropractic work, then I'm all down with it. Rolfing, like, where's the health insurance that has those things? That's what I'm going to sign up for. I'm going off on a tangent. I'm sorry. I did not want to bring up Fukushima or healthcare either. After I said it, I was like, no, 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 we're not going to go there. This is a fact, and it is going on, but not for this empowering new moon session of a reading. So, again, there is this, you know, a lot of this I think I want to talk on the event, though. So, you know, right now there's, you know, the scope for how much of a division there's going to be it's going to be really big. So there's going to be, you know, one of the things that we are so awakening to is that vengeful, get even, where you're really hurting yourself. So that because this sun moon is conjunct Pluto, there's going to be a lot of that. There's going to be a lot of where people just can't see through what they're doing, and all they know is the only thing that feels good is to put out more hurt and to put out vengeful things and get even, and I'm going to get you, and you know, so there's going to be a lot of people who are going to jump on that one because it's such an ingrained pattern that they're not going to be able to see how devastating it is to their own progress. They will as the year moves on, because it's going to be one thing after another, and a lot of those people will just then fully hit rock bottom and will ask for help. that's why a lot of the people out there are going to be so in demand. And that's what I had said last year too, like people doing the kind of work to help others feel safe, to help them shift out of those old mind patterns of negativity, of always naming what a victim they are, of always naming that they never have money, naming these things over and over and over, which is then manifesting them, you know. So a lot of those people are going to finally hit the ultimate rock bottom, and then they're going to come out for help. So I do know too that a lot of the people who are, I said this in last year's New Year thing too, but a lot of people who are doing, like everybody who is in this kind of metaphysical, spiritual, shamanic healing world, really needs to move into the sliding scale way of being. There needs to be lots of things balancing, doing free things with charging things. And the people who are going to be the leaders, ooh, my dog's moving. Hi, Moon Bear. The people who are going to be leading forces in the world, in the metaphysical, healing, shamanic, reader world, empowerment world, are the ones who will have completely let go of their own addictions to money and needing money to validate what they're doing. If you are still needing money to validate who you are and what your gifts are, you'll be doing a little bit of struggling in 2014, because that one has got to be shifted out of you. The age of Aquarius is not about having money equal value. So that's the roughest one for a lot of people, and that's going to be the biggest one that will, you know, have to be shifted. And I just thought about, you know, in my private space, the Love Collective, a lot of the people there have been coming forward and offering free readings, you know, and that's one of those things, just kind of offering some things free, not having to have every bit of information that you share be about, you know, having to get money from everybody. I have to honor myself, and it's through these dollar bills, these paper money thing, that I feel valuable. And there is the need to expect the best and to demand the best for yourself. So by stating your needs, that I want to have my bills taken care of, I want to live comfortably, and, you know, all that kind of stuff, that's good, that's perfect, you do want to do that. But by doing that, that's kind of all you then have to do. And then it's just about putting your energy into just loving what you're doing, you know, putting all your energy into, I just want to serve in this lifetime, I just want to give back these amazing gifts that I have, and I just want to make a difference in other people's lives. So that's what has to be up front and foremost in every human being's thoughts right now. But mostly the ones who are doing the healing work, the shamanic work, the metaphysical, you know, empowerment, helping others move up this ladder of vibrational growth. So if you're not doing that, you'll still struggle. And all I have to say is, if you're still having that struggle in 2014, that's just what needs to be changed. And it can just have you going out there and just starting to do some volunteer work. You know, even with my class, I gave, you know, 5 scholarships away. So 5 people got to go in for free, and they got the book that I create too, that you don't have to get, but I gave them that too, because I'm like, well, the class, by giving the scholarship, the class, you know, if there's 1 person or 60 people, it's kind of the same. Although that's what I said at first, and now I have 60 people, and I'm like, wait a minute, actually it's a lot. There's lots of questions when you have that many people. There's lots of questions to answer. There's lots of things to take care of. But I didn't just want to give that free, because that's easy to give free. So I was like, I'm going to give them the book too. You know, and that takes, you know, an hour to put together and to ship off. And so I wanted to have something that was really like, you know, not just something that I'm giving away for free and it doesn't feel like I'm doing anything to do it. I wanted to create something too that then, you know, took me, you know what I mean? I can't put it into words. But so I wanted to give a physical thing that actually cost me money to make and give that away free, you know? So And then for every class, I'm going to be doing that, because I was like, this is just what I'm going to do. I'm just going to do free scholarships. And then, you know, through these videos too, and writing horoscopes. And so it's just really important that we do more things like that. And, you know, and to do it with the number one intention of helping others and assisting them, and not with these other, because any ulterior motive, any kind of hidden motive of, well, I'm really doing this so that this other thing can happen, we have to be careful with those kind of energetic things, because if there is something like that where it is really to just make more money or to do all these other things, but it's not with the number one motive of helping others, then there will be blocks that will come, especially in 2014. And if they do, just know, you know, and fortunately too, with these monthly events, I'll really be able to go in deeper with everybody and really keep everybody aligned. But if you are having any kind of struggle in this next year, it's just because you're not operating with 100% integrity. And I'm going to be sharing this really big thing in the event tomorrow. I don't want to share it now, but it's something that I came up with that's so huge, and I was like, oh my gosh, I never knew that. You know, but I did really awaken to why it took me 14 years to manifest this dream. And I had always thought it was a timing thing, but now I see it really wasn't. So I'm going to be revealing that very vulnerable thing in the event tomorrow. So let's see if there's anything more I want to say about this one. I kind of wanted to keep this short. You know, I think I just kind of want to leave this with, everything is about taking responsibility for ourselves now. And we're not going to pass through this unless we do. But if we do, oh my gosh, you know, if you can operate with integrity with everything you do, only do the things you really love, really look at yourself anytime, any kind of obstacle, friction, any kind of thing that comes into your life, really like, just know it has like nothing to do with them, and it's only to do with you and something that needs to change about you. If you can do that, you know, like this next year is going to be like the best year ever for you, you know, where you're going to be so busy. Like, you know, I remember when I made that claim, I was writing about, you know, I brought through what 12-21-12 would be about, and that was one where I said, you know, if you're operating with integrity, your business is going to soar off the charts. And I said that, and I didn't know if I would be included in that. I was still not having any business, you know, so I was still in that state of not. So even when I wrote that, I didn't know that it would apply to me. I know after I wrote it, I hoped, but I'm so fortunate that I was one of those. So, but even like that, it opened me up to, wow, we really have to take a lot of responsibility with what's going on in our heads, you know, and what we're thinking and what we're saying, and we have to start getting this stuff, because I can't tell you how many people I see post these things that are so insightful and the real deal and the truth, and then, you know, the next day they're, you know, putting out those words of how I never have any money, I am so sick of always struggling, and, you know, they're always going back on what they just said, and I'm like, look at that, you know? We have to look at that. What are we saying? You know, and one of the things too, I'll kind of start closing it with this, but I think one of the biggest gifts in my life was finding Moon Bear, having Moon Bear come into my life, because she is so sensitive to energy. She's really shown me about how powerful our words are, and it's the energy that comes out of them. Like I can't, like if I'm like, oh, come on, you know, see there, eyes woke up. She totally like came out of a deep sleep. Anytime I like, you know, even driving or getting frustrated or cussing or like, fuck. See, there they did. They opened up again. I wish you could see this. But I can also, this is one I can tell you too, because I know a lot of people who come from the Kundalini Yoga train of thought, because so much is crap out there. You know, you have to understand, like, some people said this is so, and then all these other people follow it. But I know they have a thing with like the word fuck, And I can tell you honestly that, oh my God, I am so fucking stoked. See, she didn't wake up. That wasn't negative. It's the intention behind it. You can't put too much importance on, nope, nope, you can't say that word. You know, that's just keeping you locked in another layer of density and unawareness land, you know. It's the intention behind them. It's the energy behind them. And I learned that from Moon Bear. You know, if it's something on TV too where they cuss or they say it with this angry, anything that's kind of angry and frustrated, and she'll always look at me too in like this really subservient, like, oh my God, what's wrong? What did I do? It's so, I'm always like, no, 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 I'm sorry, it's okay. But she's really helped me see when I do put this energy out and when I'm not really aware, because it's just this habit and it's this natural reaction. But I've learned so much from her with that, because when I do it, it pulls her out of a deep sleep and she's like, what, you know? So, you know, our words, especially when they're negative and frustrated and angry, they're very powerful, you know, but not to be so locked into this box of actual detachment from evolving by putting too much importance on things that really aren't that important. You know, like being like, you know, I think I told you for years I had that thing where, nope, you cannot say those cuss words, you cannot say these things, you cannot do that. And the more I've kind of grown up and, you know, it's like we don't have to focus so much attention on that. Also, too, there's another thing where you'll hear a lot of people be like, no, 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 I can't hear that. I don't want to add to the fear. I don't want to add to the fear mentality. And what I do want to say to people when they say that, they're really just saying, I can't talk about that because it scares me. You know, it's not adding to the fear mentality. But I used to think that too. But now I can talk about Fukushima. You know, I can talk about, you know, even like one thing I've been telling people recently. I had a couple years ago, I put this video out called I put this page out called the High Vibration Movie Guide. And one of the things, I got it banned last year. They said that, you know, they banned the page. They weren't going to allow it to be publicly viewed anymore. And I was so busy in my work, I couldn't really understand what movie triggered them. And later on, I kept having all these people ask me about chemical burns. What was that movie you told us about Hiroshima? And it came out like 25 years after the fact, and I was like, just Google it. I mean, I found it. You can find it. And it really came to my attention again because somebody else was like, what is this? I can't find it. And when I went to Google, it's gone. It's wiped from, it's not even, that's what got my page banned, because I had that movie on there. And what it was they showed how, you know, the results of Hiroshima, which was the U.S. bombing them, the U.S. bombed them with this nuclear thing to see what the results would be on human life. So that was done as a test to see how humans, you know, get over this and heal through this. And then the results were totally lies. And then they were said, no, it's fine. They did great. It's all good. So that is what got all the nuclear plants put into the U.S. They were approved. We can do this. Nuclear energy. And one of the things about this movie is that it did say that, you know, 20 years later, every single one of those people had cancer. Like, it took a longer time for it to manifest, but every single one of them. So that movie was banned, you know, because of Fukushima, you know. But so talking about that, like, I can talk about all this stuff now. I've watched Earthlings, man. But I don't have the fear of it anymore. So when you do go, no, 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 I can't talk about that, it's adding to the fear mentality, it's adding to fear, that's not really the case. It's just that it scares you, and that's okay, you know. And that's okay that you say, I can't look at the factory farming, I can't look at any of that. It's okay that you say that, but some people have to look at it. Some people have to acknowledge it. Some people have to step up, be the brave ones, look at it, hear it, and then put the energy out there to pray for its right action and its healing. So to kind of play deaf and dumb is something that a lot of people do have to do because it's harsh and you're sensitive and you're an empath. But it's not okay to be like, no, I can't hear that because it's adding to the fear mentality. This is a reality. You know, Fukushima's been leaking radioactive waste by the millions of gallons or trillions of gallons daily since my birthday on March 11th, 2011. It's reality. You might not be able, it might scare the shit out of you, I get that, but don't shut it down as like you're adding to the fear mentality. It's reality. You know, some of us have to look at reality, and some of us look at reality so much that it doesn't even, like, nobody can hardly tell me anything. You know, even people talk about the encampment centers and stuff. I can hear anything now because I've moved past it scaring me. I'm more like, tell me all about it. So now I can visualize the healing of it. Tell me about everything that's going on, so that I can now see it in its right action, see it being healed, see it. So we need a lot of brave people coming forward like that too, looking at it and not worrying about it, but just believing that it will be brought into right action. You know, I think about the animals all the time who are like calling out for help and like somebody, you know, and then there's other people who are like, animals don't have feelings. They aren't depressed. They don't da 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 da. You know, and I'm like, of course they do. Of course they do. But so that's another one we need to let go of thinking we're adding to the fear mentality when it's actually hurting the situation, I think, by saying that. So admit that it does make you scared to talk about it and you don't want to talk about it. That's okay. But take some responsibility. It scares you. You don't want to hear about it. I get that. Just don't add to it in a negative way by being like, I just can't hear that. I la 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 la. Admit that it scares you and then tell people I can't talk about that. And then leave it at that. Let the people who can talk about it look at it, talk about it, and do whatever they can to bring it into right action. So that's another one. I'm so shocked by some of the things I'm bringing up in this reading. I didn't think we'd go to Fukushima, feedlot animals. But then again, I'm always talking about that stuff because I can. It breaks my heart. I'm not saying I'm steel. It breaks my heart, but I want to do something about it, you know? I want to dream a better way. I want to dream of people getting off of their addictions to animal meat. Unless you're raising them and killing them yourself, you know, kind of thing. That's what I've kind of thought. Like, unless you have to, unless you can kill this stuff yourself and then eat it, you shouldn't be eating it. And I know I cannot do that unless it's the last thing that there is. So, okay, cool. I think I'm going to stop there. I'm going to put the link down below about our event tomorrow. I so hope you're going to be with us. It's going to be amazing. I'll get the one too about the shamanic journeying on the next day. We're going to just activate you perfectly and get you totally aligned and so stoked about going through the gate this next year instead of being stopped again. You know, enough of always being stopped. You know, enough of that. Enough of it. Like, why not, you know, and that's something too, you might not realize this, but you may also have a fear of success. You know, a fear of what that does mean when you make it. You know, I kind of understand that one now because it is kind of like, oh my gosh, you know. So we'll just get in there and kind of find out what is holding you back, and then, you know, me and Eva and Tara, you know, will come together on this monthly basis to kind of like then, you know, bring in this juice and this fire and this empowerment of like, yes, because that's the thing too, is it's like exercising. You have to keep doing it. You have to keep doing it. And you have to keep that momentum going and keep that momentum going. So this will be a really great catalyst to kind of like keep pushing you forward and shifting your life. So yes. Okay, cool. We're going to call that a reading day. And I will see you tomorrow. And other than that, I will see you in a couple weeks with the full moon in a couple weeks. And I guess that would be Leo by then, huh? Are we going to be there then? I don't know. It might still be Cancer. But yeah, we'll find out that soon when I actually look forward in time, because I just go day by day by day by day just to keep up. But okay, you have a beautiful new moon. This one is so special. They don't get any more special than this one. Know that too. This is not a common act in history. This is totally on purpose for the intentions of us shifting. 2013 was the training wheels one. This next one, they're coming off, and it's time to go and do and be these things you really want to see in the world and the change you really want to see in the world. Okay, you have a beautiful day.